Welcome back to The Explainer. Look, if you've been feeling that constant, exhausting modern hustle lately, we are taking a major step back today to look at a profoundly different perspective on wealth. We're going to examine the mindset of prosperity in Islam. If you've ever felt like, no matter how much you earn, it just never quite feels like enough, or if financial anxiety is basically just background noise in your life right now, this explainer is absolutely for you. We're going to break down how shifting your fundamental definition of sustenance can actually lead to genuine, lasting financial peace. So let's kick things off with a pretty simple yet deeply profound question. What does true prosperity actually look like to you? Take a second and really think about it. I mean, for most of us today, our immediate thought goes straight to the bank account balance, right? The car in the driveway or the size of that paycheck. We live in this era completely fueled by comparison and the sheer anxiety of just acquiring more. But what if that exact definition is the very thing keeping us stressed out? What if our lens on wealth is just way too narrow? You can see how these two radically different viewpoints contrast. In everyday life, we tend to view sustenance or wealth strictly as material possessions and income. End of story. But from an Islamic perspective, sustenance has a much, much broader meaning. It covers literally everything that brings benefit to your life. We're talking about your physical health, those quiet moments of clarity, harmonious family relationships, and honestly, above all, inner peace. When you start understanding wealth through this massive, expansive lens, you actually stop feeling deprived just because you might lack a specific material thing right now. You begin to see this vast array of blessings you've already been given. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We're going to start by redefining true prosperity. Then we'll look at the divine promise, outline the principles of financial peace, tackle the modern wealth challenge, and finally finish up with some actionable steps to cultivate this mindset. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, redefining true prosperity, and moving entirely beyond just material wealth. This idea right here brilliantly illustrates our first core concept. It's absolutely crucial to understand that not all abundance brings peace, and not all scarcity implies deprivation. In Islam, the concept of a blessing is highly revered. It's really about the quality of what you have. Like, do the goods you possess provide widespread and significant benefits? The source material points out this fascinating reality. A lot of people with massive wealth actually walk around feeling a sense of lack or even shame, while those with incredibly modest incomes can live in profound, unshakable peace. It just proves that the quality of your sustenance is far, far more important than the mere quantity of it. Moving right along to section 2, the divine promise. This is where we lay down the theological foundation for true peace of mind. I want you to really absorb these words for a second. Islam teaches that everyone's sustenance is already determined. Surah Hud, verse 6 tells us, "And there is no living creature on earth whose sustenance is not provided by Allah. He knows its place of dwelling and its place of storage." Think about what that literally means for your daily financial anxiety. If your baseline provision is fully guaranteed and recorded, that frantic, desperate worry about the future, it can actually start to melt away. This profound belief is the very root of a truly peaceful mind. But here's where the sheer brilliance of the system comes together. You take that absolute trust and you pair it with this verse from Surah An-Najm, "And that man shall have nothing but what he strives for." So the crucial point here is balance. You don't just sit back and do nothing. Islam actively encourages you to continuously do your utmost. You put in the serious physical and mental effort, all while maintaining that spirit of complete trust or surrender in whatever the outcome is. Striking this exact balance between striving through the hard stuff and placing your trust in the divine is just essential for a healthy financial mindset. Okay, transitioning to section 3, principles of financial peace. How exactly do we translate that deep spiritual trust into our actual everyday mindset? The source outlines 5 key pillars to really nail this mindset. First up, ensuring your income is halal, because the way you earn is just as vital as the amount you earn. Halal income naturally brings peace, while income outside those bounds just breeds endless anxiety. Second, instilling gratitude. Focusing intensely on what you already have completely stabilizes your emotions when you're managing money. Third, avoiding a scarcity mindset. Feeling like you never have enough leads straight to irrational, panicked financial decisions, for sure. Fourth, treating money purely as a means to achieve a better life, never as the ultimate goal itself. And finally, aligning your intentions. When you work, save, or invest with the right intentions, those boring, mundane financial tasks, they literally transform into acts of worship. Which brings us to section 4, the modern wealth challenge. Because let's be real, maintaining this peaceful mindset today is probably harder than it has ever been. We are living in this ultra-modern era where you are just bombarded by environmental influences and social media. Literally, everywhere you turn, you're invited to unconsciously compare yourself to others, which inevitably leads to total dissatisfaction. But remember what we just learned. Every single individual has a completely unique life journey and a unique set of ordained circumstances. To actually survive today's financial pressures, it is absolutely critical to stay intensely focused on yourself, your own efforts, and the blessings you already hold in your hands, rather than obsessing over the curated highlight reels of everyone else on your feed. And part of navigating this modern world means deploying a very grounded, long-term mindset. Trusting in divine provision definitely doesn't mean ignoring your earthly responsibilities, right? You still need to consider your current needs while wisely planning for the future. That means developing rigorous, real-world habits, investing, saving, and managing your everyday expenses with actual discipline. When your mindset is firmly rooted in ultimate trust, your day-to-day financial decisions just become sharper, highly focused, and significantly less impulsive. Finally, Section 5, cultivating a prosperity mindset. Let's look at the actual actionable steps you can start taking today. So how do we build this daily? Well, the source gives us an incredibly simple but highly effective checklist. Start by actually noting down and acknowledging the blessings you have every single day. Consciously cut back on that toxic habit of comparing yourself to others. Shift your energy to the process and your own hard work, rather than stressing obsessively over the final results. Build those consistent, disciplined financial habits we were just talking about. And lastly, just keep learning and improving yourself, step by step. When you lock into this perspective, every financial choice you make becomes rational, totally focused, and deeply aligned with your core values. And that brings us to the end. The Islamic perspective teaches us that seeking sustenance is not just about blindly chasing material wealth. It is about embracing all the blessings bestowed upon us, our health, our time, our peace, our family. It's about striving as hard as you can while deeply, genuinely trusting the outcome. So I want to leave you with a question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Take a good look at your daily habits and your current financial worries. Are you exhausting yourself trying to build mere monetary stability? Or are you actively cultivating a mindset that leads to a truly peaceful, balanced, and blessed life? The choice and the peace that follows is entirely up to you.